Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special prime time edition of the PHLY Eagles podcast. This bonus episode presented by TrueMark Financial. Visit truemark.com/compare for full details and to apply today. TrueMark Financial, federally insured by the NCUA Equal Opportunity Lender, and we are here in a quad box to take advantage of this nice bit of kismet as the Eagles are preparing to face the winner of this Monday night playoff game between the Vikings and the Rams. And so far, it's all Rams. They're up 17-3. We're joining you late in the second quarter, and we're going to talk about it. And I would start with you, Zach. We got Zach Berman. We got Fran Duffy. We got Jamie Lynch. Zach, I don't know if you're familiar with this term, but the last 2 weeks, can you think of someone who has fumbled the bag more than Sam Darnold?
I think of someone who's fumbled the bag more than Sam Darnold. So, meaning had a great opportunity tonight. What's that?
You've warned us ahead of time that you're feeling loopy tonight.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm rallying for the show. I'm adjusting right now to the angle here to make sure that I don't have Liberty Place in my head.
Up your nose,
yeah. So look, there have been players who've really struggled down the stretch. There have been teams that have built big cushions and then collapsed. I mean, last year the Eagles fumbled the bag, if you will, but Sam Darnold was in a sterling position here. Now, look, they were still.
Well, the bag is specifically the money. Now,
money bag. Gotcha.
Going to get the same, outcome, I suppose. But
yeah.
Cold hard cash.
These last 2 weeks, he has.
Okay, yeah. So they were 14. They were a 14 win team. Lost to the Lions, who are a 15-win team. Go on the road in the playoffs here. This has been a bad first half. There's still time to go. I think Sam Darnold's sample size, or I think his performance over the year will certainly help him.
Okay, so you dismiss the question. You don't think that he's affected his market by playing like one of the
worst? No, you say, has there been anyone who's fumbled the bag more? Yeah, and my point is, I don't
specifically the money. I mean, this guy was like the guy. I'm sorry. Fran, am I crazy?
Did you just want me to agree with you? Yes, Bo, you're right.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I gotta think there.
You don't think teams are gonna care more about these last 2 weeks?
But I don't think he's gonna be like a backup quarterback. I think he's still gonna get paid $30 million next year. Like So he could have helped himself with 2 better performances here. I don't think the first 15, 16 weeks of the season are for naught now that he lost to the Lions and then he's struggling tonight against the Rams.
Okay. Now, Jamie, last night on the postgame show, you were vociferous in wanting to play the Rams.
Yeah.
You feel the same way now that they are so far dominating this game.
Absolutely not. Sam Darnold has turned into a pumpkin here. He's holding on to the ball way too long. He's taking brutal sacks, making bad throws. Give me the Vikings. I'm going to be a coward. I'm going to flip my answer from last night. Look, I did mention, Stafford and McVay winning did bother me a little bit in choosing them, but I thought it was just going to be a bad performance versus Detroit in Week 18. I didn't necessarily think it was going to carry over, and now it's carried over another week. I'm going, like Justin Jefferson just kind of showed some frustration out there, and credit to the Rams defense, but I flip-flopped. Give me the Vikings.
Fran, what's been your take on this first half as the Rams came out with an easy touchdown drive on that opening drive, like a hot knife through butter, and then they forced some big turnovers, and Sam Darnold at the moment, I mean, it's funny, 13 of 16 for 113 yards. So, Zach is pumping up that gas, but he's got a pick and a costly fumble as well.
Yeah, I go back to the conversations we had about the Rams back when the Eagles were preparing to play them back in October, but where it was, this offense, if they can get healthy, this is a team that can do some damage. And defensively, I know the numbers are not beautiful. They've given up a lot of yardage this year. That secondary has really struggled at times. But when you look at what their identity is, they can really mix things up from a pressure standpoint. and they can create havoc for a quarterback with all these different pressure looks. They can blitz guys from all three levels. They've got a very versatile package with guys that come in off the bench and can present some different matchup problems off the line. So this was a team that honestly, like, I thought at the time when the Eagles played them, they were like third or fourth place in the West, and I still thought, the team could go on a run and win that division. They've gotten there, and now they're trying to make some noise here in the playoffs.
I want to ask you about the Rams defense because as we talked about, and I don't know if we should be doing play-by-play or not, but the Rams have just gone in for another touchdown at the end of the second quarter. It's going to be 24-3 as Davis Allen gets the score. I believe it is Davis Allen and not Allen Davis. I want to ask you about the Rams defense, Fran, because you were looking at like which team would you rather play? Vikings, second in DVOA defensively, and you knew that you had like all the interesting stuff from Brian Flores sending all kinds of different blitz packages at you. This Rams defense, they play a bunch of rookies. They ended the season 26th in defensive DVOA. But do you think that this is a better group than those numbers suggest?
I think it's a dangerous group in that they, for everything I just said, and in that they can present a lot of problems from a matchup standpoint when they're not in that rush package where it's Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, the two rookies, but then you have Kobe Turner, Go Deeks, you've got Michael Hoyt, and all the corners and the nickels and the safeties and all these guys that can blitz from the second and third level. We saw that here in this game where they're going to bring quick off one side and the running back goes that direction. Well, then here comes the Keller Witherspoon coming from the opposite way, right? And so they're dropping defensive linemen out. It's just they present a lot of problems from that. It's a feast or famine defense. I mean, they're going to give up yards, but they're going to create big plays. And we talked about this week, Green Bay, where like you throw the regular season out, you throw the 17-game sample out, and you say, okay, what happens in a 1-game sample? The defense, because of how volatile they can be, they can mess you up in a 1-game sample, and they can create some negative plays.
Zach, how are you feeling about the Rams now that they're dominating this game? And how different would you feel about this game than you did the game that you got to witness at SoFi Stadium?
Yeah, I like this matchup for the Eagles. Now, I have a lot of respect for Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, right? We've seen them win big games in January. We've seen them win a big game in February. I think Matthew Stafford's one of those quarterbacks where if you are in an NFL locker room, the respect that other players have for him is it's really profound. Like that's where you see probably more so than maybe the public sentiment is he's one of those who fans appreciate or who players appreciate. That said, I like this matchup for the Eagles. You talked about that first game. The Eagles were playing without DeVonta Smith in that game. They go there and A.J. Brown, 6 catches, 109 yards. Saquon, obviously, 26 for 255, had the 72-yard touchdown, had the 70-yard touchdown. The Eagles were the more physical team. They were simply better than the Rams in the Rams building, traveling across country. Now, I don't mean to belittle, like, there's much more significant things happening in California right now.
Two games are never the same.
No. I'm just saying Rams are going. Yeah. So the Rams would be going from. I assume they're going back to LA tonight, right? Unless they're staying in Phoenix. I actually haven't looked. Yeah. LA to Phoenix, back to LA to Philly on a short week. That obviously favors the Eagles. And again, like there's more significant things happening in the lives of these players and their families than the football game. But I view it like this would be an advantageous situation for the Eagles. The Eagles are the better team, playing with more rest, playing at home against a team from the West Coast. I would just really like that matchup for the Eagles.
Jamie, I think one thing that has stood out to me as you just think about like a playoff game and the game that we watched yesterday at the LINC and watching these two teams play, these two dome teams playing in a.
I just looked up the weather report as you were setting me up.
Well, lay it on me because I do think that there is a little bit of a difference for the Rams.
Absolutely.
Coming to the LINC.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the way too early weather report, but it looks like a high of 41 on Sunday with a low of 28 and being that it's a 3:00 kickoff, I think the drop in the air starts to happen around like 4:30. So, you can project this probably in the mid 30s. And look, for some Cali boys that don't have that thick northern country blood, they might feel that a little bit. Now, what team could come into Philadelphia that's from warm climates and pull an upset? That's never happened before in our history, so we're fine.
Nice. There you go. I do think we will probably spend this week talking about the poetry of the Eagles season potentially being ended with the hands of Dylan McMahon. The original sin coming back to bite them. It's very much on the table.
The commitment to a bit is outstanding.
It's not a bit. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I think it's the number one on everyone's mind. Yeah.
I think the big storyline would be Vic Fangio against that Sean McVay defense. And I just see, actually, as I say it, I see Seth F says that in the chat, is that Fangio, I don't want to say he's the Shanahan.
He owns them.
I'm sorry. He's the McVay kryptonite.
He owns
but
them.
You say you're only as good as your next game. Like I subscribe to the Jalen Hurts belief of momentum, the Jalen Hurts, and I apply that same thing to the vibes thing, right? Is like momentum can start and stop at any time. So so Vic Fangio only has Sean McVay's number until the next game, and you never know how the next game's going to be. But if you use history as a guide, Sean McVay does struggle against that defense. Vic Fangio, the play action teams, and by the way, Green Bay is an example of that. The flourish from that McVay tree. I keep saying Shanahan, from that McVay Shanahan tree, and you saw what the Eagles were able to do last week. I think, and Fran can speak to this better than I can, but so much of the motion, the play action, the misdirection. If you are, if your assignment sound, if you communicate well, then you can handle that. And the Eagles have been spot on with that. Now they're introducing a new linebacker this week, so that could factor into things, especially against that that McVay group. But I still think I trust Fangio in that matchup.
So take us back, Fran, to what happened when these two teams on that side of the ball met earlier this season. Eagles won that game 37-20. Stafford 24 of 36 for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua had 9 for 117. Cooper Kupp had 8 for 60 and a touchdown. Kyron Williams 16 for 72 and a touchdown. Those numbers don't seem that bad, but what did Vic Fangio do to sort of stem the tide of the Rams in that game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, it was a lot of the same things that we've seen from them throughout the season, where they didn't feel the need to send extra rushers at Matthew Stafford. Remember, at that point, all those skill guys had missed a lot of time, and so you didn't have Nacua, you didn't have Kupp, you didn't have Kyron Williams for chunks of that season, to the season to that point. And so by the time we got there, Matthew Stafford was under duress. The offensive line, that's the other thing too, is that they were going through all the different combinations of O linemen, and so Matthew Stafford's numbers against pressure were really poor up to that point in the season. You could tell that he wanted no parts of taking hits and wanted to save himself, honestly, for late in the year and for the playoffs. And that's where, it's to the point now where he's healthy at this point in the year. But I think when you look at this
5 times by the Eagles in that game.
Yes, he was sacked a number of times. I remember Jalen Carter wreaking havoc in that game. But I think the big thing is that this skill group, when healthy, they've been one of the most efficient in football, and so it's gonna be up to them to try and see if they can find chunk plays against this Eagles defense that is not allowing the explosives. But if they can find those intermediate plays and create some yards after catch, that will be something that they're going to try and do, especially with Nakobe Dean out of the lineup.
This is our first Franning cast that game.
That's right,
yeah.
The very first one. That's a good call.
Yeah, that was fun. What will Sean McVay do, knowing that the Eagles are going to have this new weakness in the middle of their defense with presumably Oren Burks taking over for Nakobe Dean? What are the ways in which he will try to target that player?
So it starts with the run game, and so they're going to they will try and establish the run game and get things going from that standpoint. But then after that, then it's play action, and so it's run game, play action, trying to get the Oren Burks to second guess everything that he's seeing on a down-to-down basis. Show him one thing that looks the same over and over and over again, and then once he attacks that one thing, that's when you hit him over the top or you throw one past his ear hole. The other thing too is that in zone coverage, which we know that the Eagles play a ton of zone coverage, they do an outstanding job with their route concepts of putting stress on specific defenders. And it doesn't necessarily need to be like the weak point, the weak link in the chain, but in this case, it could be where it's hey, you know what? We're going to put two routes, one in front of Oren Burks, one behind Oren Burks, and he can't be right. And so that's something that I would imagine that you're going to see plenty of those kind of high-low concepts in the middle of the field. You know, maybe it's with a healthy Tyler Higbee and Puka Nacua, or maybe it's with Kupp and Nacua, but just finding ways to be able to target the middle of the field against Oren Burks. They do as good a job as anybody of being able to dial up those route concepts against zone coverage defenders.
People in the chat, Jamie, already playing guess the line for if it is the Rams coming to the Eagles. What would be your guess?
I would probably put it Eagles -5 and take it from there. Because I think it's somewhere between that 4.5 and 5.5 range, maybe 4 and 5. But I would probably start at 5 and then gauge how the markets kind of react to that and either drop at a half point or up at a half point.
What do you guys think? What do you think, Zach?
I'll defer to Jamie on that. That sounds right. While we were speaking,
I think it could be as high as 6.
Yeah. Okay.
It could be. But remember, their goal in setting the line is to get equal 50-50 action. So so you want to even it out.
Especially if the Rams if this blowout holds. That's something to watch too.
That's true.
Sure.
I was looking up McVay, his history in sub 40 degrees outdoor games.
Nice.
And he is, including the playoffs, he's 4-4. Now, 3 of those losses were in Green Bay, which is obviously a tough place to play and a good team that they're facing. The Eagles, though, tough place to play, good team that they're facing. So the wins during that period, 2017 at Tennessee, 2018 at Denver, 2021 at Seattle, 2024 at the New York Jets. The losses, 3 against the Packers, 3 against the Packers, and then 1 on the road against the Bears in 2018. Of course, I believe Vic Fangio or the defensive coordinator in that game. That's the 6-point game that they had. So that's the history of them playing sub 40-degree temperatures.
And I
think it would be worth. Go ahead.
Oh, I have a trend. It was when we're on the gambling topic here. In true playoff road games, Matthew Stafford is just 1-3 straight up. Now at neutral site or home games, he's 3-0 straight up with the Rams. So there is a big difference here because tonight technically counts as a neutral site. So he is much worse on the road.
I think the Eagles should really lean into the Fangio owns McVay bit and canvas the area for Vic Fangio lookalikes and then just send them all out to just walk around the Rams facility and or just really make them see ghosts.
I know the Fangio McVay thing will obviously get the most attention, but I do think the Sirianni McVay thing would also be worth following in the sense that whether it's a media generated storyline or not, I think the Sirianni kind of doesn't get the credit that McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur tree tends to get. And I think Sirianni knows that too. I think it's all the offensive whiz kid type coach is always pitted against Sirianni. And look, I don't think it was lost on him what the Eagles did to San Francisco 2 years ago in the playoffs. And I think that there would be excitement going up against the Rams in this matchup as well.
So you think not from a narrative standpoint, but from just a giving Sirianni himself some extra juice?
Yeah, like Sirianni getting some credit here too. I think that would be. I don't think it's like
Howie complaining about Chris Ballard getting.
Yeah. Now McVay's won a Super Bowl, right? So yes. McVay he deserves his flowers. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one. There's no denying. It's what you always say. You win a Super Bowl, they can never take that away from you. But
somebody that's made you see
Right.
ghosts. Yeah, you don't forget. I just looked up some old quotes. In 2018, Fangio shut down Todd Gurley, and McVay said after the game that he really had to reevaluate how he coached. He was so impressed with Vic Fangio, and here's his quote: "It doesn't feel fun in the moment, but the only real growth occurs when you go through those challenging things, and if you're able to use it for the right reasons." And I think in a lot of instances we've been able to do that. So Vic clearly made this man, grab an AJ Brown self-help book and kind of reevaluate his life. So, those people stick with you.
It got Brandon Staley a defensive coordinator job, then a head coaching job, right? Brandon Staley was a little known as, I don't want to say little known assistant, but was a position coach under Fangio, right? And then Sean McVay wanted that Fangio scheme, hires Staley as the D coordinator. After 1 year, Staley becomes the head coach of the Chargers.
Fran, do you think we can say that this game is over? Is there a part of you that thinks the Vikings could still come back here?
Yeah, I think I would say it's non-zero. It certainly seems like the Rams have this in the bag, but I would say that at this point, there was a question in the chat. Let me see if I can find it here. Zach, because I know Sirianni was asked about this today, about at what point, because the Eagles played the Rams already this year, so they already got a little bit of a head start. So it would stand to reason that they probably did a little bit extra work on Minnesota. At what point do they say, all right, we're going to shift our gears towards the Rams? I thought the Sirianni's answer today was kind of funny to that.
Yeah. I can actually read it verbatim here.
Verbatim. Here we go.
So Sirianni today, it was a good question from our friend Jason Dumas about how he's kind of spending his time with this. And he said, we haven't played Minnesota, so today will be about that work. Really, you get some stuff from the television copy. There's some things that you get, but during this time when the game is being played, we'll be working off the tape that we have, a little bit on LA, a little bit on Minnesota. You're going to watch the game as you're preparing. We've been in this situation before. This happened in 22 when we didn't know if we would play Minnesota or the Giants. As we were watching the game, all right, the Giants are winning. Let's put more stock into this. So today, up until this point, you're going to have to do a little bit of work on both teams. And then as the game goes on, we'll watch it. It'll be on in the background, and we'll be preparing for both teams until the game changes, or it may not change at all. That's kind of how it goes. The other thing is it just gave you a little bit more time today when you don't know exactly who the opponent is to really get the corrections fixed from yesterday.
Man, opening play of the second half, Vikings, we got to get this bad boy going, and it's just a disaster,
a dud.
Just a play that is completely ineffective. Nobody knows what they're doing. Good stuff.
Did you know that Kevin O'Connell is the Delco guy?
Is he?
I didn't know
he
that.
He is.
I'll drink of water, yeah. Kevin O'Connell.
Well, he actually never lived in the area.
He was born here?
Okay, wait. He's heard of it?
Bryce Young.
Is this a Bryce Young? Yeah.
No, his father comes from a long line of Delco natives. His parents met his dad played at St. James High School. Idolized Randall Cunningham. So Kevin O'Connell was raised a big Eagles fan. Actually, there was a good story by E.J. Smith about this going into the game last year, but he had a Randall Cunningham jersey growing up. His whole bedroom was Eagles stuff. He would go to games in the vet. He has family in Jersey. So Kevin O'Connell, honorary Philly,
I don't recall Mary Easttown accent on him. I guess he dropped it.
Yeah, his father grew up in Aston, and then was in the FBI. Lived in North Jersey, Phoenix, Knoxville, California, all over the place.
So Zach, I'm curious. You went with our friend Jason Dumas.
Yeah.
And then you just said straight EJ Smith, no qualifier there at all. What's up with that? Is there something?
Our friend,
is there something brewing?
How about this? Our good friend EJ Smith. Yeah.
Oh, so now a shot at Dumas.
Can't win here, can I?
No.
Yeah. No. EJ's outstanding. Does great work. I think.
You think he's a turncoat for going on the other podcast? That's what it is.
Not at all. I
think he should. I'm glad. I hope he's getting paid. I want everybody to get more opportunities. Obviously, you are a little bit more defensive.
I appreciate all these podcasts, right? Every podcast should make us better. We should be seeing what they're doing and raising our game as a result.
Okay.
Every.
Matt Every?
That one didn't work.
Honestly, true.
Yes, and
that was I need to respond to the listener who sent the yes and, because I feel as if it was such a nice email that he sent, and I feel as if it's been created into a parody now when I meant it genuinely as a recommendation. So I need to respond to the yes and email.
No, hold on. No one is making fun of the guy. It's your usage of yes and.
Oh my God, Darnold.
No, it's not making fun. We're having fun.
Fun. Yes.
Sam Darnold is like offensive to the eyes right now.
Yeah,
he just threw 3 feet behind a guy.
Yeah, he has not been good. It's tough. Maybe it's the Monday. It's like the Monday Night Football was when he did the seeing ghosts thing, right? Maybe it's
it was Monday Night
this
Football.
is the problem. Yeah,
I thought it was a no-brainer that the Vikings were going to have to franchise tag him, put a JJ on ice for another year.
I think they probably still will
They
franchise.
probably
him,
They
right?
probably do, but
maybe
like,
they can trade from the franchise.
Oh, yeah, he's doing some damage to himself.
Fran. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do this after the next ad read, but I want you to tee up a little teaser for what we have coming this week, the mock draft that you've been working on. So a little preview for the NFL draft show with Fran Duffy. Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to mock drafts.
What do you love the most about mock drafts, Zach?
Well, I can fancy myself as a general manager, right? So what would I do in that situation? I like envisioning, I like the players in these situations. I like seeing, if this happens, then that happens. I like these sliding doors of it. I like putting together my mock draft every year. And I can't wait to see, look, I'm going to pump up Fran. I genuinely mean this. I think Fran's going to absolutely flourish in this role. I'm so excited to see him do this. So
No doubt about that. Yeah. Is there anybody here who correctly predicted the Eagles' first-round pick this year? Raise your hand.
I picked Jared Verse, which would have been great.
Yeah,
I think Edge will be very much on the Eagles' mind.
Absolutely,
I think so
this year. All right, let's take a quick break here, and as I tell you about our friends at TrueMark Financial, and we thank them for taking care of this first half of this bonus episode. If all of your holiday shopping left you with a credit card balance that's weighing you down, you can pay it off faster and with zero interest until 2026. It's true, because TrueMark Financial is offering zero interest on balance transfers for 12 months, so all your payments can go toward reducing your balance, not just covering your interest. Here's the play, baby. Omaha. Transfer your existing balance from another institution to a TrueMark Financial Visa credit card and take advantage of this amazing offer. But hurry, you have to apply by February 28th, 2025. Whether you're interested in earning rewards, cashback, or simply prefer a low rate for everyday purchases, with TrueMark Financial, you can choose the credit card that best fits your financial needs. Visit TrueMark.com/compare for full details and to apply today. TrueMark Financial, federally insured by the NCUA, equal opportunity lender. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to approval. 3% balance transfer fee applies. Standard rates apply after the promotional rate. And now we turn the page to the second half of this episode, which is presented by Bet365. You know, it's never ordinary at Bet365. If you think there's a chance that the Vikings could come back in this game, you're probably getting great odds. Maybe lay a little bit to win a lot. It's a thing that you could do because it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Same game parlays, boosts, all that good stuff. You know that we love Bet365.
So, Bo, would you like to know? Oh, they just locked the money line, but I want to say it was plus 465 I guess with the change of possession, they just locked it momentarily. So you
Okay.
get almost a little 5-1 action there if you believe in the Vike.
Nice. All right, here we go. Plug those diehards. Good job by Julia. Because let's a little bit of a tease. Fran has been working on his mock draft, and we're going to talk about that on the premiere edition, the pilot episode of the NFL Draft Show with Fran Duffy. And what is your process like, Fran? How are you feeling about this all? And maybe we could talk like Eagles for a minute if you want to.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, I've not done a mock draft, like a public-facing mock draft. So doing that is a fun process. I've done them for my own, just to go through the exercise.
I think this is a fun thing for people to know that like the ratio of work that you have done on the draft versus what actually gets published is like it's so wild that now you get to share this inner sickness with the world. I hope you don't scare people.
Well, I mean, that's that remains to be seen. I guess we'll find out in the coming months. But to me, when I go through a mock draft, the big thing is I don't care. I don't think people care like what I would do if I were picking for the Giants or if I were picking for the New Orleans Saints. But based off like conversations I'm having and kind of reading tea leaves and looking at trends and all of the everything that's under the umbrella.
On their front office histories, right? You do a lot of that.
I do a lot of work on what each of these front office the decision makers like to do and what the types of players they go for. So basically trying to project that forward. This is what I think that they would do in that situation. And so I also, I go pick by pick where it's not like, all right, Abdul Carter, I think he's a good fit at 7. So I'm going to do this. And then I'll go back and do pick 4. No, I'm going pick by pick through the mock and go through.
Way.
What's that?
That's the lazy man's way. We don't.
Yes, exactly. No, we're going to try and make it as realistic as possible. So, no, it's a really fun process. I'm putting the finishing touches, not completely done yet. Getting into the Eagles territory tonight. So I'm right around there. So nothing final from who the Eagles are picking in this mock draft, but that's the tease. You have to stay tuned to find out exactly who that is. But most of the mock draft is done.
And for the sickos, this show is going to begin. It's not going to be a live show. We're gonna record it tomorrow. It's going to go up on Wednesday. That's going to be the usual cadence. Although next week you are going to the Shrine Bowl and then the Senior Bowl. You're pulling double duty. And we will sprinkle in some live episodes to answer questions from the sickos throughout. And then obviously we're going to up the cadence as the draft approaches. So we're very much looking forward to that. And there's going to be lots of written content for the diehards. So this is going to be a good time for you to become a diehard. Zach.
So can I ask you a mock draft? I don't know if I would call it a grading question, but what matters more to you, the team or the slot?
The team.
Okay.
Yeah, the team.
Ooh, we got a little red there. What do we got?
Well, we know that
red, little chilled red.
I love it, chilled red. That's good work by you, Bo.
Yeah.
We know Bo is a big wine guy.
Huge one. Yeah.
What do we got? A little Pinot, a little Cab. What are you working
It's
with?
a Spanish wine.
A Tempranillo?
You like Saquon?
Yeah.
Saquon's a big wine guy.
Yeah, athletes when they get a lot of money all become big wine guys. It's a fun hobby if you got buku bucks.
Yeah, why not?
I'm on the chairman selection board.
Zach, give me your most likely first-round position for the Eagles.
Offensive tackle.
Okay.
I can say edge rusher 2. This is a good edge rusher class. I mean, I feel I don't want to say insecure. I'm definitely not insecure because I'm very secure in it, but insignificant. I don't want to offer my draft evals on a show with Fran. Fran's our guy, right? But
know the Eagles. You know what?
And I do love the draft. I think this is all that. I still think the same logic we had last year applies this year in terms of the Eagles thinking long term about Lane Johnson. We'll see what happens with Mekhi Becton, but the same logic about potentially a tackle who can play inside out. And I think there's a lot of. I should say a lot. I think there's a number of tackles who will be in the back half of the first round. Interestingly, a player who might be the best tackle in the draft was at the Eagles game yesterday, and that's Will Campbell. Will Campbell came to the game, I believe, with Garrett Nussmeier.
Nice.
Lane Johnson, who's a big fan of Will Campbell's, said he saw him before the game, wanted to go up to him. He really liked. Did you hear Will Campbell's analogy about edge rushers and offensive tackles? Fran's nodding his head. For those who didn't, he's like, if an edge rusher gets 1 sack a game, they're a top 10 pick. If an offensive tackle gives up 1 sack a game, they're working for Amazon.
Shout out to Amazon.
Yeah, which is an interesting way to frame it. But like Lane really liked that line. But I think there's some interesting offensive tackles there. I'm curious where Fran slots them. But like Josh Connerly from Oregon. I like Emory Jones from LSU, who could be in that range. There's I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of the name, but the Minnesota offensive tackle will be in that range as well.
Ariante Ursary.
There you go. Thank you. Well done.
Pew, pew.
Both of Texas's offensive tackles. This is a year when LSU and Texas, both bookends are top of the line guys. So I think that but you look at edge rusher, of course, and that's going to be a need and it's a strength in this draft. I'm actually real curious to see what the Eagles do with Bryce Huff. We didn't talk about it today. Bryce Huff played one defensive snap yesterday, and it was the Quinyon Mitchell interception. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the Eagles can't really cut him, but they can trade him. And I think it might be one of those things where they'll try to trade him for anything this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the state of that group. If Brandon Graham retires, Josh Sweat, my guess is he's not coming back.
I think he's getting paid somewhere else. Yeah.
I mean, given the
I was just going to say I would put big money that it's a DN that they're looking at in the first, because there's some staggering like Milton Williams numbers too. It feels like he's another guy that's going to get paid, maybe something that they can't afford or feel comfortable with. So I think they're going to your point, Bo, I think they're about to get a little depleted on that defensive line. So I would bet like big money it's a D end.
It's hard for me to believe it would be anything other than D end or tackle.
They're the only two.
Maybe defensive tackle if that's where the strength of the draft is. Without knowing the guys, like you could talk me into that if they let Milton Williams go. After that, like tight end, I guess. That's kind of it.
Yep.
Quarterback, like.
But Loveland and Warren are gone.
Like
you could probably grab that Bowling Green kid
later,
right?
I don't think they're going to draft a safety. I don't think they're going to draft a linebacker in the first round. Like, I don't know. It feels a little bit narrow at the top of the draft without knowing the players as well as you do, Fran.
Yeah, it's to me, you can't go wrong thinking line of scrimmage, for the Eagles, and so I do think that is an area of strength for this draft and that part of the draft specifically. As we will talk about, if the Eagles had a pick in the top 10. We would be having a different conversation because the talent at the top of this draft, people say this a lot, year over year. I think it's never been more true in my time following the draft and covering the draft seriously than it is this year, where the talent at the top is really, really suffering. Where, a lot of the players we're talking about going 3rd overall, 4th overall, 7th overall are just, if you were to compare them to their contemporaries in recent years, they just don't, they don't match up. You look at Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. If he's going to go in the top 10, you're comparing him to Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter was worlds better than Mason Graham, a tier better, I should say, than Mason Graham. Abdul Carter, I love Abdul Carter, but Abdul Carter going in the top 5, and you compare him to other pass rushers that have gone in the top 5, like Micah Parsons went 15. Right, you're talking about some of these other guys. Miles Garrett
is a linebacker. It's a little bit, but yes.
Yeah, but Carter played linebacker up until last year, and it was only played as a pass rusher for 1 season. And even then, like a lot of his production came as like a hybrid. Like, all right, we're going to line him up over the guard and just kind of let him loose. Right, like it's not like he lined up off the edge down after down after down. And so I just think that in this class, if the Eagles had one of those picks, and obviously they don't, then you'd be having a much different conversation in terms of how this is going to play out. But it's going to make it a fascinating and frustrating for analysts. It's going to be a frustrating spring for sure.
I'm going to push back on Bill Carter. Yeah. Or Max Crosby could be available. We'll see there. But I'm going to push back.
I would shank somebody for Miles. To go up 27-3, so it's now it's still technically a 3-possession game.
I'm with you.
So
I'm with you. I love Abdul.
Let's not look at last
Carter.
Year.
Yeah, I love him.
I think the because I'm with Bo. I don't think the Parsons comparison's apples for apples in that Parsons, if Parsons was evaluated as an edge rusher, he would have been a top 5 pick. I think what you have to look at is the draft 2 years ago where Will Anderson goes number 3, Tyree Wilson goes number 7. How do you think Carter compares to those two guys?
Well, I graded Tyree Wilson as a backup player. I did not think
I did not understand Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, I did not see the Tyree Wilson love at all. Now, I was a big Will Anderson guy, and I would have had Will Anderson. I did. I had Will Anderson a tier above Carter. And again, I have Carter graded as a really good starter. Like I do think that he's going to be an impact player in the NFL. But I think there's some size concerns, and he's still developing as a rusher. He's just not a guy that I would say, oh yeah, like I definitely feel great about taking him at 4 overall. I just think there's a little bit of projection there. There's still meat on the bone, and still you're projecting down the road. And again, like I feel as good about him. I feel better about him than I do some of the other guys we're talking about that high. I really like Will Campbell. There are going to be questions about whether Will Campbell's a tackle in the NFL. Like that's going to be a narrative over the next couple of months. I think, again, like you go down the line at some of these other spots, Travis Hunter is probably the one guy that's squeaky clean. But even then it's like, oh, is he going to be a corner? Is he going to be a receiver? Like I love Travis Hunter as a corner. I think he's awesome. As a receiver, I think that there's a lot of talent there too. But I think that when you're looking at everybody else being talked about that high, there's just going to be a lot of questions. And so it really doesn't level out until you get to 13, 15, 17, something like that.
It really says a lot about the competitiveness of this playoff game that we're doing like a watch along for, and we've spent 20 minutes talking about the draft. Thanks for showing up, Minnesota.
No, we're promoting the show.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I can't wait for draft season. It's gonna be fun on PHLY and ALLCITY.
Changing gears a little bit, Jamie, this is an important question for you. Now, you were sort of teasing Zach before we started recording, making him jealous about the fact that we got some Angelos for the hangout yesterday when we were watching the game. When you are eating leftover pizza, how are you heating that bad boy up?
See, it depends on the slice, but I love cold pizza. If it's plain or the Angelo's grandma pie, I go cold pizza for breakfast more than I would for lunch. Okay. I love cold pizza. If I do heat it up, if I'm at home, the proper way is to put a couple dashes of water in a cast iron pan and heat it up on the stovetop. Now, you can get away with a quick zap in the air fry. That's okay. Never microwave. But I love cold pizza. I cannot lie.
I think that's a good answer. We're at the toaster oven. I will go to the toaster oven more so for like a regular slice of pizza than the Angelo's. I tried it with the toaster oven. That's not the proper heating. I probably needed to go cast iron, but I didn't really have the time. Yeah. The cast iron is the way. Yeah. Fran, thoughts?
I saw a nod.
Yeah, cast iron with the. I was glad that's where you went because that is the correct way to do it.
I know, ball.
Yeah, and then
my wife is so impatient. Sometimes she will go with the microwave, and it's the only thing that she does that I can't approve of.
The only thing with the Angelo slices, they're a little bit bulky because I like to be able to you throw the some water in the cast iron, so you got to be able to cover it. Yeah. So it's just making sure you can keep that bad boy covered is the only challenge there. But no, the
surface area that's what made the toaster oven tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I
would prefer a burned bottom on a pizza slice to like a steamed microwave slice for sure.
Well, Mikey Faze in the chat says Jonathan Gannon microwaves pizza, and I don't think I've agreed with a comment more in my life.
I doubt Jonathan Gannon microwaves pizza, number one.
He probably
no
doesn't
way
even
he
eat
eats
pizza
pizza. There's
because,
no
yeah,
way he
because
eats
he's a
pizza.
robot freak.
Jonathan Gannon appreciates good food, appreciates good wine. Him and Bo would get along in that regard. But I use the air fryer.
Travis's comment is very funny.
What's
Travis
Travis's
says
comment?
his wife microwaves French fries. He's almost called the police on her several times.
Oh, Mrs. Travis, no.
I gotta say, we don't have a toaster oven. We just have the air fryer, and we
Okay.
kind of
Oh, we
use
got
it
the
as like the
combo.
all-in-one. Okay, so I grew up using the toaster oven for it. Anything with the actual oven's taking too long for reheating pizza. Like to me, if
Actually, that's not bad. If you really got time though, that's not a bad idea.
yeah, but
That's how I did my
I want
today.
it has to be
is
to
it?
me.
Okay. Why didn't you say
Has-
that?
I did. I started to say it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it
that
has
doesn't count.
Has to be sub 2 minutes. So the
Wait a
air
second.
fryer
It has to be sub 2 minutes, or that's
or sub 5 minutes. Yes, yeah. Like I'm
Okay.
not gonna. I'm not. If
ain't
I'm
nobody got
reheating
is
pizza,
ZB don't got time to wait? I mean, what if it's part of your routine? What if you set the oven, you put it in, you go do something for 15 minutes? I don't know.
it's like Michael Scott with the bacon in the morning, right? I want it quick and efficient, so I do the air fryer, throw it in there on the aluminum foil. 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, cut in and knock that out.
Okay, I think that's reasonable.
Is anybody here with me on cold pizza?
No, I'm not a cold. I don't like cold pizza.
What?
It's fine.
I like it hot and crispy. Yeah, I mean it's better. Cold pizza is better than no pizza, but
Sure.
give me
Sure.
hot pizza.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm not against. I like cold pizza. It's
Right.
pizza.
Congealed
But
cheese,
so
baby.
I would still rather have it. I would rather have it warm and toast.
Yeah,
I'd rather have
right.
it burned than cold. There are
I
certain,
forget
but
what-
it's also there are certain types.
Yes,
Like,
I agree with that.
I actually don't think that D'Angelo's the heft of it is not for me. What you would want for a cold pizza. A cold pizza, I want like
Fair.
a nice, even like a Neapolitan kind of slice. I might eat that cold.
Well, that's the thing.
The
though, is
more
that you get
breading, the less I want it cold.
You get,
I
you get
agree.
a hefty like
Safe
tomato
statement.
pie. Like I love it. I love it. Like a hefty tomato pie, and that obviously
Oh,
that's that you're getting that cold.
But that's
and I'm
fresh.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Yes,
You don't want it leftover. You want leftover tomato pie, right?
I mean I like
No,
the
tomato
leftover
pie is always
pie,
you
too.
keep it in the fridge. Yeah, tomato pie is. I love tomato pie. Corporate
Yes.
lease. That's my jam.
Tomato pie over pizza?
No, I'm
Okay, you're not
Okay.
crazy.
All
You're not
right.
Pizza.
Ooh, that's a wild take. I will say roast pork over cheesesteak though, and I don't think that's wild.
In all scenarios?
I just think it's the better sandwich. Obviously, moods depend, but the roast, I don't know, with the long hots and the sharp prove or the broccoli rabe, like it's just phenomenal. It's perfect.
Okay, I think that's a valid opinion. I don't quite share it. I do love a roast pork, but
Oh, here we go, Minnesota touchdown.
TJ
Hawkinson.
Hawkinson thrown behind, beats Akella Witherspoon, gets into the end zone, dives in, and that makes it 27-9. They're going to have to go for two to make this a still 2-possession game.
16-point game.
Yeah, let's see how they do.
Did you see the Greg Olson?
Raji.
Did you see the Greg Olson tweet yesterday about game management?
What you do, G Reg? What's your name? G Reg. What you do? Drop my toes on the third leg. Chilling on the 7th floor. I gotta let these chickens know G Reg is in the house, and I'm always joke.
How do you know
I
that
can
so
keep going.
well, Bo?
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. By the way, the Vikings are plus
as well.
Vikings are plus 1,200 right now on Bet365 live.
So, a team trailing by 13 scores a touchdown.
Not quick.
Okay, so a team trailing by 13 scores a touchdown. This was happening in the Eagles game yesterday. He says, go for 2 to try to cut the lead to 5. Okay, and if you give up a field goal, you're down 8 and still within 1 possession. Being down 6, you give up a touchdown or a field goal, you're down 2 scores. This is not something a team. I liked his logic. It's something I've thought about before. I want to run it by some people in the league who I know who deal with this stuff, but to me, it seems sound. What are your thoughts on that?
Just to say that the Vikings did not get the 2-point conversion, so it remains a 3-possession game, 27-9. Do you have an answer there, Fran? Or
Oh, I thought you were gonna go. You
No,
were
it's
gonna
okay.
keep rolling there. Yeah.
I think it depends on the timing. I would
makes
honestly,
sense.
I would have to ask around as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alex Newman's comment just made me chuckle. He or she said, based on backgrounds alone, it appears only ZB knows how to read.
I've got
Hey,
books.
he's got some books. Yeah.
I got some books
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
I got
Look here. There you go. He or she who does not read has no advantage over he who she who cannot read.
Got a Dick Allen book right here.
Oh,
look
look
at
at that. That's a nice item.
God
Hall of
almighty
Famer
himself.
Dick Allen.
The draft.
Look at that.
Pete Williams.
Okay.
Howard Mudd's book, A View of the O-line.
Yeah.
Got a few more back here.
How's the Howard
gotta
Mudd
say-
book?
Bo will be judging me on. So.
What, your books?
I gotta say,
Yeah.
this is only about.
Why would I judge you on your
Oh,
books?
it's all football books back here.
Oh.
So we have like we got the Packer
Yeah, what do you
Way,
think is in
Ron
this
Wolf.
closet? It's all triangle books.
Yeah. This is a very. I mean, I hate to be like a tryhard here. This is a very small proportion of my books because
Ooh, big flex.
most of
What
my
a
books
flex.
are most of my books are on the Kindle, right? So these are all books that I
So it's not
a
a small
read.
proportion of your physical books.
Oh no, yeah, no. This is basically all my physical books.
Okay.
But most of the books that I've read since I got my first Kindle in 2010, and so most of these books are pre 2010. Honestly, most of these books are from college, or if I do a thing where
Friends,
if
colleagues.
a friend of mine writes a book, I buy the hardcover. Like here's Tyler Kepner's book right here.
Ah,
Here's
yeah.
Barry Sperluga's book right here. I can go on down. I have a bunch.
I have a
of,
couple Calvin and Hobbes and Harry Potters over my shoulder. I just didn't grab them.
What do you
Shout
guys
out to Dan. Shout out Danny Parkins right here.
What are you guys reading with the kids these days?
We're big into Captain Underpants and
Okay.
Dogman.
We've got the Captain Underpants books. Haven't cracked them yet. Are they good?
Oh, phenomenal. Great.
Okay.
Yeah, really good stuff.
We are doing a bunch of different ones. Francis likes to jump around, so we
Okay.
got some Pokemon chapter books for Christmas. So we're
Oh, yeah, we got some
Oh my
Pokemon
God.
going.
Oh,
that.
man.
Yeah, so we're in the
Casey
middle
would be
of
so
that.
jealous. You gotta tell me if they're good.
Yeah, no, they're fine. And then
But the thing is, though, everything else in our house is Pokemon right now, and so it's actually kind of nice that our bedtime reading is not Pokemon.
right,
To be
and
honest.
then Meg is doing Wild Robot because we got that for Christmas as well.
Oh,
so
we did Wild Robot.
that
We did all
chapter
three.
like
They're
that
very
as
good.
well. So, we ping pong with bedtime. So every other night he's getting Wild Robot,
Yes.
and then it's a grab bag whenever he and I are doing bedtime.
Nice. Zach, I imagine with Reed, it's Benjamin Franklin's autobiography.
No, similarly, Captain Underpants,
Nice.
Dogman,
Reed knows ball.
Amelia Bedelia. But Reed admitted he's really into sports now, so he gets books from the library, sports books from the library that we
Yeah.
read. And
Did
I
you
got
guys read Matt Christopher? Yeah,
No.
Matt
The kid
Christopher.
who could only hit home. Who could only
Oh,
hit
No,
home
this is
run.
like the
yeah.
history. This is like the history of like the Eagles or the history of the Flyers.
Is he reading the franchise?
Yeah.
I gotta say, children's books. That's where it's at, man. These young adults books. These are like, it's like my game story is longer than these books, and the listing price is like $11.95 on these things. So
Well, maybe tighten those
the way
up.
to go. Jeez. You know what? The AJ Brown story today, which you can read on PHLY.com, that was like 750 words. So
Did you
that
see
was
he
short.
became the #1 Amazon bestseller today?
Did I see? I
Zach
mean,
is
of
so
course you
jealous.
did.
Yeah.
come on, I am so jealous. AJ is going to have a copy of this book in his locker tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, I'm.
Interesting.
I mean, I genuinely want to give. I genuinely.
No, I actually want to ask you
give
about this because I imagine that you must have wrestled with this ethically.
Yeah.
Take us
With what? With giving
Giving
players
him the
books?
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave players the books. Like Brandon Graham's featured in the book.
Sure.
Lane Johnson's featured in the book. I haven't given it to Jalen yet. I should. Jalen's featured in the book. But players who I've had these like long-standing relationships with, who are featured in the book, I'll give them a copy for sure. But AJ is not featured in the book per se, so that one actually. But there are a few players in that locker room who've asked for copies of the book who I owe them copies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't answer, we also do a bit of a ping pong, and so when my wife is putting Casey to bed, they've been going through Harry Potter for like months now.
Nice. We just talked about
starting
it.
Meg's been itching to do it. Yep.
And it's starting to get like a little bit harrowing. So that's been fun. And then Casey and I did the Wild Robot series, and now we've moved on to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which has been fun.
Oh.
So there you go.
So we are very much in the Wicked spiral too. So like anything Wicked, there's a dance show and singing every night, every minute, and any Wicked reading is hot.
Nice. Just a reminder that this episode for this portion is presented by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Oh, it's never ordinary at Bet365 as the Rams are stopped by the Vikings. So the Vikings will get the ball back late in the third quarter here, down 18 points.
Plus 1,400 on the money line.
Creeping back just a little bit. Super chat from Harksaw, who says, when are we getting a shout out Amazon shirt?
By the way, I want to genuinely say how appreciative I am to the listeners, to the viewers for the slippers.
Prove it.
Yeah, what do you got on? Let's see them toes.
Boom. Look at these.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
But no.
Where are the other ones? Where are the pinks?
They're not up here.
Your feet. 2 of them in the pink. Let's go.
2 of them. So let me say no. So I gotta say,
gotta be a better way to say that.
When the I didn't know what was happening last week.
Brand's gonna turn his camera off.
When those packages came in, I didn't know they were from viewers. I didn't know what was in them. I just saw Amazon packages, and so that's all it was. But yeah, I do think I do have an appreciation for Amazon. I mean, it's yeah. So, anyways,
Fran?
I don't know. So I don't know what I missed here. Did I miss something?
That's okay. You're pure of mind, pure of heart. It's all good.
Missing the 80s had a great comment saying with the idea for a book title, Little Zach Goes to the Campus Food Court coming summer 2025. Enjoyed that
Fran,
one.
you're gonna be in 2 weeks where that whole joke started, which I need to say, in my defense, I'm hoping I know Bo has some bullying tendencies here, but I'm hoping you can defend me when you're down there near the stadium. There are not many food options. The closest Chick-fil-A to the stadium is in the food court at the Student Union. When I put in to the Google Maps Chick-fil-A and it takes me to the Student Union and it's 3 minutes away, there's nothing weird or wrong about that. We're literally on South Alabama's campus. But I put in.
Wait, but hold on. Why did it have to be Chick-fil-A?
No question. There are so many there are so many small little barbecue places that are right around there. The little small salad places that are right there. There's some seafood places that are right around the campus. There's a lot of really good options right outside South Alabama's campus, or next to it. One of my favorite barbecue places I've ever eaten at, like probably ever. Meat Boss. Shout out to Meat
Boss.
Oh,
what a name!
They're just outstanding, and I will be visiting them at least twice.
That'll mess up your afternoon, but it's good.
In a couple weeks.
What'd you go to barbecue, Fran? You brisket man?
Yeah. Yes, all of it.
All of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything and everything. So they actually at Meat Boss, they have like a white barbecue sauce, which is like phenomenal.
Yeah. The Alabama white sauce. Yeah. I've made that at home in the Instapot.
Yeah,
I am a sucker for cornbread.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a cornbread.
Yeah, they've got my go-to. I already know my order the first day I go in there. It will be brisket with the white sauce, and it's on a you can get it on you can choose your roll, and it's like a sweet roll. Just
We might need a breakdown, friend. A little VOD action from the barbecue joint, the Meat Boss film breakdown.
Yeah, they were on. I'm a little concerned. The owners assured me last year that this was not going to happen, but they were on Triple D. They were on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives last spring. So my concern was I'm going to go and it's going to be like a line out the door next time I come, which that's great. I'm happy for them, but I want to make sure I can get in and out and get my food as well.
Guy Fieri, big football guy.
Yeah.
Super Chat's rolling in now. Sean says Fran is speaking like a true scout. And Jim K says, if you ever go to a live event, make sure Bo tells you the Brent Selleck dog sitting story. I think it's good advice. I'm happy to do that if we're in person.
Oh, I'll have to get that one tomorrow.
What was the there's a lunch place by Lead Peoples that I used to love. I went every single day. It's something kitchen. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's like a minor chain. I think.
No. It's not. It's literally like somebody's kitchen.
Was that the place that was like in that residential neighborhood?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there one time.
Okay, I used to go there before every practice.
I forget the name. It was years ago when I went.
Yeah, I used to go there before every practice at Lead Peoples, and so honestly, when
not Mario,
when practice, I wish I had known all the places around South Alabama's campus. I was in a rush coming from downtown to South Alabama's campus. I put in I put in restaurants. Literally, the closest thing there was Chick-fil-A. You have 20 minutes. You know it's reliable. That's essentially what happened. And yeah, I admit it. The student union's full of vibrancy. There's a reason why, the world's changed by people in their 20s, because like there's excitement and optimism, and it's much more. You don't find the same type of cynicism that you find elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You got like a bunch of guys working together and creating a rap song that nobody will ever forget.
On the 7th floor.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are guys in their 20s. Nothing to be ashamed of.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Any final thoughts? We're just to remind everybody,
we're going to return 20 minutes now.
For it's just the end of the third quarter. We've got the whole fourth quarter to go.
Yeah. I could talk barbecue all night. Now I'm thinking about collard greens and beans and
See, isn't that too heavy before a football practice anyways? Like, don't you want,
I get it after now. Well, so that's the thing, is that they changed the practice schedule. I don't know when the last time it was that you've been down there, Zach, but it used to be that they would be a morning practice and an afternoon practice, and you have to go for a fast lunch in between. Now everything's in the morning, and it gets done like 1 o'clock. So it's a late lunch, but you build up your appetite, and then you just go nuts. And actually, one of our friends on the Eagles beat last year joined me for Meat Boss. Went back and promptly fell asleep and woke up at like 2 a.m. So that you're prone to that happening as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I gotta say, we're at 10:36. It's like confessional here.
PHLY after dark.
Do you see Conclave?
What? No, I haven't seen that. I so appreciate going to the office and when there's cheesesteaks and roast pork, but I can't do that before a show. Like, to me, that's like I'm not going to be on my game for the show. I was
in pain in post-game show last night. I was so full because I couldn't help myself. There was roast pork, there was buffalo chicken, there was a cheesesteak, there was pizza. I was disgusted.
Yeah, I can't do that before a show. Actually, the Reading Terminal, that was like, I remember I had a small sliver because I was like, I can't have this sitting on me during the show.
Zach, Travis wants to know what's going on with the fish.
Still swimming. So I changed the water. I don't know why we're still rolling with this thing, but This fish is going.
Is it
Super
standard
chat from
goldfish?
Sean,
I
who
missed
says
that.
over under 5 hours of sleep for Zach tonight.
Under, unfortunately.
Why?
Why?
Gym class tomorrow morning. And yeah, I mean,
What time's gym class?
7:15.
You can still get to 5.
So, well, I'm not gonna get to bed tonight till 1, right?
Why?
What time are we going to finish the?
This game should be over in 45 minutes. Oh, Sam Darnold scrambling.
You recovered from the mono.
This game's not over.
7:15 at the gym, man. That's brutal.
Emily goes at 6:15.
What?
Yeah. Or well, actually now.
Yeah, but what time does Emily go to bed?
Yeah, she's probably getting a good night's sleep, Zach.
Yeah. She wasn't staying up for the show. I'll put it that way.
Zach's going to bed and Emily's getting up to go to the gym.
Yeah.
This is like when back at the day after days at the Athletic, when my mother-in-law would be here, you know, she gets up at like ungodly hour, like she gets up at like 4:45 or
naturally or an alarm.
Yeah, she just gets up, and I'd be like just emerging from the basement. It'd be like 6 a.m. just like emerging from the basement. She's been up for like an hour and a half. She's having her coffee. I gotta like have like a half a glass of wine just to like turn my body off at 6 in the morning after being up all night. It was just like 2 ships passing the night. Tough scene.
Yeah, when I was at the Inquirer, I used to tweet out the links for all our stories, all our Eagle stories, and then Bob Ford said to me one time, Bob Ford, can you please stop tweeting out my stories? I don't need my phone buzzing at 6:15 a.m. So
turn off the notifications, Bob.
You got it, Bob. Yeah.
Respect it. All right. So here's the deal. We're gonna close up this bonus episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast presented by TrueMark Financial and Bet365. And then right when this game is over, we are going to return with a quick hitter to give our thoughts about the initial matchup as the Eagles prepare to play the winner of this game next Sunday at the LINC at 3 p.m. So thank you all you guys for joining us in the live show.
Hit that thumbs up button.
Hit that thumbs up button.
Smash it.
Yeah. Can I ask, leave more comments, please? You know, I'm checking the comments. Let's get more comments up there on our YouTube shows.
Yeah, Zach needs more things to think about.
Read.
Quick, Fran. We do have an extra super chat from Louie, who says, "Is Travis Hunter, in your opinion, a corner or a receiver in the NFL?"
Yes.
Corner.
I think he.
Yes, and.
Yes, and I think that he's either going to go just receiver or he will be corner and receiver. I don't think he can major in receiver and then dabble in corner. You know, I've heard some people say that's not how that works. You can't just go into the defensive game plan and get a handful of plays. Even if you had a team that played all man coverage, that still wouldn't work. Now you can be a corner, meet with the defense all week, and then get a package of offensive plays. That is something that we've seen at times. But he's not going to be a full-time player on both sides. And if he's going to be a full-time player on defense, or if he's going to play any defense at all, it will be as a full-time player.
Which one do you think he's better at?
Corner.
I think that he is more special at safety or at corner. I think on defense, that is where he is. That's where the ceiling is higher. But I get why. I mean, he's a really good receiver prospect as well, and so I get why he would want to play on offense as well.
Zach, Derek says he's responding to your request for more comments. He says he wants more shows and longer shows, and I'm going to add on his behalf later shows.
Yeah, well, more shows and longer shows. We're on 5 days a week. I mean, the number one comment I get from people is they can't keep up with us, right? So I don't know about more shows. Longer shows, we go longer than an hour most days, even during the off season. I was looking at some of our stuff last week. We have hour and 18-minute shows in the middle of June, and so later shows. Look, if I would do later shows if we did more remote shows. I'd be happy to do later shows.
Okay, there you go.
Now, Bo, given that Bet365 is one of the presenting sponsors here, do you have any Australian Open locks for me here that I can cash in on and
I'll tell you
replenish the account for the weekend?
I haven't looked at the lines, but I am debating getting up tonight for the Andre Rublev João Fonseca match. This 18-year-old Brazilian phenom from Rio. Took him in the 10th round of my draft with my brother. I'm excited to watch him play. Big first round matchup. Early fireworks down in
Say
Melbourne.
those names again.
Andre Rublev and João Fonseca. João
I'm looking for the lines.
João Fonseca.
Yeah, I'm looking at
You
the
need to have
line.
Rublev.
You need to have a Caipirinha as a celebration.
Close enough. Close enough.
Did I nail it? Caipirinha. Yes.
You didn't nail it. That's
That
close
thing.
enough.
That thing is so
Caipirinha.
good.
Yeah,
Is that
those
what
are
it is?
good.
Yeah, that was legit.
Is that right, Bo? Did I nail that?
I believe it's Caipirinha.
Oh.
Could be wrong. Do we have a line on Fonseca?
There's so many There's so many matches.
Yeah.
I'm swimming in lines here. Fonseca. And I don't. It's here somewhere. I'm just not seeing it. I'm blind to it right now.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't read.
Bet365.
They got a beautiful Australian Open section though.
Tennis.
Oh, here's big pass over the middle.
Looks like 4:30 a.m. it's slated for, and Rublev minus 150, Fonseca plus 120.
What do you like?
I mean, I'm rooting for Fonseca.
What if you're trying to make money?
Special.
What's the better value?
I'd probably stay away, or I would bet on Fonseca. I wouldn't bet on Rublev, but it should be fun.
Nice, a little chilled red, a little Australian Open. That's a
4:30
Wolf,
wake up. Yeah. I'll text Zach Berman, have fun at the gym, and then I'll watch my tennis match. All right. Let's watch this one play. 3rd and 8. Darnold in the shotgun.
Nah,
Drops
miss
back.
him by
Looks
3
to his
yards.
right.
Ooh.
Pumps. He's moving. Oh, and he's sacked. He takes a big sack and a big celebration from the Rams. That could be the final nail in the coffin for the Vikings. A bad sack to take. If you throw that ball away, you live to fight another 4th down. Now it's going to be 4th and super long, and it does look like the Rams will be headed to the LINC on Sunday. We're going to be back to talk about it when this game ends, right when it ends. So come and join us for that. And thanks for watching this episode. We'll be back in just a little bit for Zach, Julia, Jamie, and Fran. And Bo, we'll talk to you very soon. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.